So we're going to get started in child's pose, which you can take in a traditional child's pose if that feels better to you today, with big toes touching, knees a little wide, and press yourself back. But the offering for today would be to keep the knees a little more neutral, tuck your toes under, press your hips back to your heels, lower down to your forearms and interlace your hands. And then start to inch your elbows and forearms forward and bring your forehead, your third eye down to the earth. So a little combination of like a puppy pose and a child's pose. So that you're getting some opening through the feet and starting to get into the legs. And you're getting some length and space created across and along the back and the side body. Let your eyes close down and begin to explore your breath here. Allowing this to be a moment, an opportunity to start to explore your inner landscape. I'll take about 3 more breaths here. And then if you've got your hands interlaced, bring your palms down to your mat. And everyone on an inhale, press yourself up, tabletop hands and knees. Let your knees come a little closer together underneath you. And breathe, extend your right toes to the back of your mat and then cross them over to the left. Press the floor away. Let your tailbone lengthen. Let your pubic bone lift in and up. Press down into the floor, breathe, and as you exhale, start to lift your foot up, 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 swing the leg around, use control rather than momentum, reach through the heel, and try and bring the heel to the outside of the right hand. So it may not come right to the outside, let it land where it needs to. Press the floor away, lift the foot, swing it back around, and tuck your toes over to the left. We'll do that twice more. Breathe. Bring your leg up, around. Reach through the heel. And so you'll feel some engagement in low belly, in obliques even a little bit. And find the connection of the armpit there. And then press the floor away. Swim the leg back around. Inhale, bring your leg back up around to the outside of the right hand and keep it. So you're in a little bit of a wide Hanumanasana, half split. You can come up to your fingertips. Take a breath, let your heart lengthen forward. And exhale, keep reaching your heart forward as you start to fold. Keep a bend in the right knee so that you can find the fold of the hip. You might let your head hang a little side to side and just work some space in there. Nice. And then breathe, lift the heart forward and up. Take your back left toes, tuck them over to the right, and start to sink your hips back, back, back behind that foot so that you land in a Janu Shirshasana, left foot to the inner right thigh. Take your arms, reach them up with a breath in. And as you exhale, you're going to take a twist to the right. Right hand behind you, left hand comes to the outside of the knee or thigh. Let your tailbone drop down so that your low back can lengthen. Let your shoulder blades kind of slide onto your back so that your lungs and your heart can expand and open. Take a breath in and a breath out. Beautiful. Gaze forward, breathe. As you exhale, you're going to release the twist. Right calf crosses in front of the left for Sukhasana, easy seat. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. As you exhale, hands come down through. You can stay upright or fold a little bit. Maybe sway a little side to side and get into the hips. And then come to stillness. Breathe in. And breathe out. Walk your hands in slightly. Take a breath. Lift your hips up, cross at the ankles, and land into child's pose behind you. Big toes connect. Hands walk forward. Good. Inhale, come up tabletop, tuck your toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath, inhale, pull forward to plank. Stay here, press back through the heels. Let your inner arms spiral forward so that your heart and lungs expand and you're really in your legs, your belly, and using your whole body here. Take a breath in. As you exhale, lower your knees, either traditional child's pose or the tuck-toed puppy child's variation that we started with. And then palms to the earth. Inhale, lift up, tabletop. As you exhale, let your knees come a little closer together underneath you. Breathe, extend your your left toes to the back of the mat, and then reach them over to the right. Press down into the floor, press into the ball of your foot so that you can feel your spinal column elongate and your heart lengthen forward. And then as you exhale, start to lift the foot up, swim it around to the left, reach through the heel and tap the heel toward the front left corner of the floor or mat. And then as you exhale, press the floor away and swim the leg back over behind you to the right. We'll do that twice more. Take a breath, bring the leg up, around to the left corner. And then exhale back and over to the right. Good, breathe, bring it up and around. And then exhale back and to the right. Inhale, bring the leg up and around, and you'll stay in this wide half Hanuman, half split. You can come up to fingertips, let the inner arms spiral forward, bend the left knee so that you can find a deeper fold in the left hip. Breathe. And as you exhale, you can stay or start to dip the chest forward and down to your comfort. Good, take a breath, lift up. As you exhale, your right foot tucks over to the left. Start to sit your hips back behind the foot, Janu Shirshasana. So right foot to the inside of the left knee. Inhale, arms reach up. As you exhale, twist to the left. Good, close your eyes down, breathe. Tailbone drops to lengthen and fill your pelvic bowl, your low back, your sacrum, so that you're nice and supported and rooted. Good, gaze forward, breathe in. As you exhale, release the twist and start to fold left leg in front of the right. Breathe your arms up overhead. As you exhale, hands come down. You can stay upright or fold. And again, I like to sway side to side just to make a little extra room in the hips. I tend to get a little tight in this area. Come to stillness if you're in movement, breathe. As you exhale, walk your hands in so you can use them for support. Lift your hips. Child's pose, feet come back behind you. Inhale, lift up, tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, pull forward to plank. Exhale, tuck-toed child's pose, puppy pose, hybrid. So you lower down to your forearms, interlace, third eye forehead to the floor. Palms to the floor, inhale, tabletop. As you exhale, knees come a little closer together underneath you. We'll flow that and we'll add on. Inhale, right toes to the back and then tuck them over to the left. As you exhale, bring the leg up and around to the right. Inhale, swim it back behind you to the left. And exhale, bring it up and around to the right and stay. Take a breath in, lengthen your heart and your lungs. Exhale, stay or fold. Inhale, lift the heart, lungs up. As you exhale, tuck your left toes over to the right, sink back behind the foot, Janu Shirshasana. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, twist to the right. Stay for a breath in. Stay for a breath out. Good, gaze forward, breathe. As you exhale, cross right leg in front of the left and fold over to your comfort. Take a breath, lift up, let your hips lift. As you exhale, child's pose, feet, big toes connect behind you. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, pull forward to plank. Knees down, tuck-toed, child's puppy. Breathe, come up, tabletop. Exhale, let your knees come a little closer underneath you. Breathe, extend your left leg back and over to the right. As you exhale, swim it up around to the left. Inhale, back and to the right. Exhale, up and to the left, and then keep it there. Take a breath, come to fingertips. Heart lengthens forward. Exhale, stay or start to hinge. Inhale, lengthen your heart forward. As you exhale, right toes cross over to the left. Start to sit your hips back behind the foot. Janu Shirshasana. Breathe, take your arms up. As you exhale, twist to the left. Good. Take a breath, gaze forward, release the twist. And as you exhale, left leg folds in front of the right. Fold over the legs to your comfort. Inhale, let your heart lift up. As you exhale, hips lift. And then press it back, child's pose. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, downward facing. Stay for a breath in. Stay for a breath out. So hands about shoulder distance, plug into your finger pads. Bend your knees a bit, press down into the floor with your balls of your feet so that your sit bones can reach up and you can press through the backs of your legs and your belly lifts and engages. Good. Take a breath, right leg high to the sky. As you exhale, step it to the outside of your right hand. Good. Lower your back knee down. Inhale, arms reach up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, take a moment to not just settle in, but press the ground away to feel more lifted so that you can rise up. Breathe. As you exhale, hands come to the inside of your front foot. Tuck your back toe, lift your knee, breathe. As you exhale, step wide to the outside of your left hand. Stand up in a little bit of a wide forward fold. Bend your knees. And then inhale, roll yourself up to stand. Arms reach up overhead. When you get to the top, take a big inhale. As you exhale through center or swan dive and fold. Good, take a breath, right leg lunges back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice. Inhale, roll out to plank. And this time from your plank, we'll come into a tuck-toed up dog. So get really strong in your legs. Root back through your feet. Let your inner arms spiral forward. Keep the belly and the glutes engaged and start to let the heart and lungs pull forward and up. So you're using the strength of your legs. Breathe here. Bend your knees, lift your belly, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step it to the outside of your left hand. Lower your back shin. And inhale, take your arms, reach them up. Anjaneyasana. Take a full inhale. Exhale, press down through the ground. Rather than sinking into it, press it away so that you get more lift, more space up out of the joints. And as you exhale, hands come down to frame your foot. To the inside of your foot. Tuck your back toe, lift your knee, breathe. As you exhale, step to the outside of your right hand and fold. Inhale, rise up. Palms meet overhead. Exhale, bend your knees, come down and fold. Breathe, left leg lunges back. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, roll out to plank. Find the strength of your legs by pressing your heels back. Let your inner arms and your lungs spiral forward. And then come into your tuck-toed up dog. Breathe. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, step it to the outside of the right hand. Lower your back knee. Inhale, rise up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, hands come to the inside of your front foot, tuck the back toe, lift the knee, and step wide to the front of your mat. Inhale, rise up, let your palms meet overhead. Exhale, float on down. Take a breath, right leg lunges back. Find your length here. Downward facing dog. You can stay or inhale to plank. You can stay or find your tuck-toed up dog. Wrists draw back, belly lifts, glutes engage, lungs and heart open up. Downward facing. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step it wide, lower your back shin. Breathe, reach up, Anjaneyasana, low crescent. And as you exhale, hands come down. Tuck the back toe, lift the knee. And as you exhale, step wide to the front. Inhale, rise up to stand, palms meet. Exhale, float on down. Take a breath, left leg lunges back. Exhale, down dog. You can stay or inhale to plank, or you can flow it through into your tuck-toed up dog. Keep everything strong and active and engaged. Downward facing dog is where we meet, Adho Mukha. Take a breath in. And a breath out. With an inhale, rise, bend, look forward. We're going to come wide to the front of the mat. As you exhale, walk a step or hop to the outside of the hands. Inhale, rise up to stand. Exhale, hands to heart. Feet are parallel, but they're wide, almost to the edges of the mat. Good. Bend your knees. Start to slide your sit bones back. We come into a wide Utkatasana. I want you to look at your thighs and your knees, that they're parallel and not caving in or opening out. And then you can keep your hands to your heart, or you can reach them up. Good. Sit bones back. Hinge, let your belly meet your thighs. Let your pubic bone, your pelvic floor engage. Take a breath here. As you exhale, wide fold. Good. Inhale, bring hands to shins or thighs. Find a halfway lift. And as you exhale, hands come down. We'll come into Buddha squat, Malasana variation. Toes out, heels in, hands to heart. If you need a little support, or your knees don't like dipping so far down, you stay a little more upright with hands on thighs. Or you can use your hands on the floor for some support. Elbows press the knees out, but the knees hug in. And then everybody lift just a half an inch up out of it. So rather than just sinking and settling into the joints, you're active here. And then find a little smile. Take a breath in. And a breath out. Hands come down, breathe. As you exhale, step it back, downward facing dog. Nice. With an inhale, rise, bend, look forward. As you exhale, a walk, a step, or a hop wide. Come right into your Malasana this time. Good. Press the floor away. Inhale, rise right up to stand. Parallel your feet. As you exhale, come into your wide Utkatasana. Good. Breathe in here. As you exhale, fold into a bit of a wide Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift from earth, shins or thighs. Toes out, heels in, Buddha squat, Malasana, hands to heart. Good. Hands come down, breathe. As you exhale, step or hop your feet back, downward facing dog. Good. With an inhale, take your right leg high. As you exhale, this time step it between your thumbs, so we start to rein it in a little bit. Good. Lower your back knee down. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. As you exhale, hands come down to frame your foot. Tuck your back toe, lift your knee. You're going to come into a pyramid, Parsvottanasana. It's a little shorter, wider of a stance. Take a breath like a halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bend both knees a bit. See what it feels like to press energetically your heels out to the respective edges of the mat. And let your head hang. And then breathe like a halfway lift. You're going to take your back left foot over to the right side of your mat so that you've got one foot in front of the other. And then you can stay like this. You can walk your hands over to the right to your capacity, your comfort. Press down into the floor with your right big toe mound. So you should feel some sensation along the sacrum into the right hip in the back, along the outer right leg, IT band, and hip. And then breathe, walk back around your front foot, and then to the other side of the mat, prasarita, wide straddle, all 10 toes face the left side. Nice. Press the floor away. Inhale, rise up to stand. As you exhale, right toes turn forward, Trikonasana. Right hand comes down to thigh, calf, shin, hover. Let your right hip draw back. Press through the ball of your back foot to let your heart lengthen forward and open. Press your left hip point in the same direction that your gaze is facing to let the heart expand open even more. Good. Little bend in your front knee. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, settle in. Take a moment here to get organized. And then inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, cartwheel down. Frame your foot, step back, downward facing dog. You can stay here or inhale, plank to your tuck-toed up dog. Downward facing dog. With an inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step it between your thumbs this time. Lower your back knee. Inhale, reach your arms up. Low crescent. Crescent moon. As you exhale, hands come down to frame your foot. Tuck your back toe, lift your knee, and step your right foot up and over to the right for Parsvottanasana, pyramid. So a little shorter and wider in your stance. Take a breath. Lengthen your heart, your lungs forward. Find a bend in both knees. As you exhale, fold over. Let your head hang. Let your eyes close. Press into both feet and energetically press your heels out to the respective edges of the mat. And then inhale like a halfway lift. As you exhale, your right foot crosses over to the left so that the feet are tracking one in front of the other. And then you can stay like this. That might be plenty of sensation. Or you can walk your hands over to the left. And then breathe. Walk your hands back toward the front of the mat and over to the right. Wide straddle, prasarita. Press the floor away, bend your knees, inhale, rise up to stand. Left toes turn forward, Trikonasana. Your left hip, your hips start to hinge back. Left hand comes to ankle, floor, shin, thigh. Let your right hip point press to the right edge of your mat. Press through the ball of your back foot. Let your heart lengthen forward. And then a little bend in your front knee. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, maybe a little lengthening in your stance. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, cartwheel down. Frame your foot. Downward facing dog. You can stay here or inhale, plank to tuck-toed up dog. Exhale, downward facing. We'll flow that and build. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, step it through, lower the back knee. Inhale, crescent moon, reach your arms up. As you exhale, come right into your pyramid. Hands come down. Reorganize the stance, little shorter, little wider. Breathe like a halfway lift. Left foot crosses over to the right edge of the mat. You can stay or walk your hands over to the right. And then inhale, hands come back around to frame your foot, and then wide straddle. And then this time, actually, we're gonna build and change it just a little bit. Take a breath like a halfway lift. Good. Your right hand is gonna reach across for the outer left calf, ankle, or over top of the foot. And then bend your right knee, shift your hips to the front of your mat. Your left hand can stay, or it can walk away from you toward the floor off of your mat and tent your fingers. So you've got a little traction. This should make some space across the back, the shoulders, into the hips, the groin. Let your sit bones lift up. Let your navel lift up. Let your heart lengthen forward, and then take your gaze toward your left armpit. Nice. Look to the floor. Breathe. As you exhale, gently release your hands. Straighten up both legs. You're going to walk your hands in front of your left foot and bring your right foot to meet your left. Good. Inhale, rise up to stand. You'll be facing the side of your mat with feet together. As you exhale, hands come to heart, and then clip your hips. Good. You're going to turn your right toes toward the front of your mat. We're coming into Tree Vrikshasana. So you might bring your left heel up into, your right heel into your ankle. You might bring your right foot to calf. You might come up to inner thigh. All right. Hands can stay on hips, heart, or up overhead. All right. Let your left hip hug in and press into your lifted foot. Lift your standing arch, grow roots down into the floor so that as you press away, it lifts you up out of your joints and lets you become taller. Good, big move here. Take a breath, look to the front of your mat. Good, you're gonna start to float your tree and then step that right foot forward. We land in Warrior Two. So if you didn't land where you wanted, take a moment to lengthen out your stance. Very nice. Straighten up your front knee. Inhale, reverse your triangle, your Trikonasana, and then exhale, Trikonasana. Bend your front knee. Inhale, reverse your warrior. As you exhale, cartwheel down, frame your foot, downward facing dog. You can stay here or inhale, plank to tuck-toed up dog. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step it through. Lower your back shin. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, pyramid, Parsvottanasana. Step your back foot forward into the right and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, right foot crosses over to the left so your feet track. You can stay or walk your hands over to the left. And then inhale, come around, frame that foot, and then wide straddle, Prasarita. And then from here, breathe like a halfway lift. Your left hand's going to thread around to the outside of your right calf, ankle, or foot. And then bend your left knee so that your hips reach and press toward the front of your mat. You've got that traction of arm and leg. And then your right hand can stay, or you can start to walk it away from you and tent your fingers. And let your chin, your gaze, work up toward your right armpit. Look to the floor, breathe. Straighten up your left knee. Hands walk in front of your right foot. Left foot comes to meet your right. Inhale, rise up to stand. You'll be facing the side of your mat. As you exhale, hands come to heart, and then clip your hips. Good. Left toes turn to the front of your mat, and then your heel can come into right ankle, to calf. Land in tree. Maybe you come to upper thigh, maybe hands to heart, or up overhead. Right hip hugs in. Press down into your standing foot to lift up and get taller. Breathe. And then look to the front of your mat. Start to float your tree. Bend your standing knee. Big step into warrior two. Yeah. Straighten up your front knee. Inhale, reverse your Trikonasana. Exhale, Trikonasana. Left hand comes down to ankle, shin, or thigh. Bend your front knee. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, cartwheel down, frame your foot, step back, downward facing dog. Take a breath in here. Big breath out. Nice. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, step it through, lower your back shin. We're going to change it. Inhale, arms reach up. Good. As you exhale, hands come down, straighten up your front knee. We come into Hanuman, half Hanuman. You can take your heel and wiggle it forward a little bit. So now it's a little bit more back to center. Breathe in. Exhale, bend your right knee so that you can fold belly over front thigh. Let your head hang. Take a full breath here. Full breath out. And then inhale, let your heart lift up, lengthen forward. Couple choices. You can start to shift your hips back and lower them to the inside of your left foot for Ardha Virasana, half heroes. That can be a little intense on the knee, the quad for many of us. You might sit back on a block, a pillow, or a blanket with your right butt. Another option would be just to come into Janu Shirshasana, left foot to the inner right thigh. Now, so you kind of see what works best for you. All right. If you are in Ardha Virasana, you want your hips to kind of level off with the right sit bone rooting and the left sit bone rooting. Hi, buddy. Make sure that that left knee stays down to the floor and you stay active through the right foot. You can stay here, or you can start to lean back a little bit. If you're on a prop, this is usually about as far as you would go. All right. If you feel like you've got a little more space in the front of that left quad, knee, and hip flexor, you'll lift up, scoot your tailbone forward a little bit, and you gradually start to lower yourself down to forearms. As soon as that knee lifts up, you've gone a little too far too fast. This is about as far as I go with my body, but you might have some space to lower all the way back flat onto the mat. Everyone's a little bit different. You can lower back just like this if you are in Janu Shirshasana. You would just lay in a tree pose, basically, and cactus your arms. Close your eyes wherever you've landed and take a full breath in. Full breath out. If you laid all the way back, you gently press the floor away, come back up to forearms, and then press into your forearms, your palms, and lift yourself back up. Very nice. Good. Start to remove any props out from under your right hip, lean to the right, and swim your left leg around. You can pedal out. Beautiful. We come into Dandasana, staff pose, scooching the sit bones back a little bit. Feet can be together, or I actually like them hip distance. You can take 2 fists into your inner arches to give a little check there. And then hands next to the hips, fingers forward, sit up nice and long through the spine. You can bend the knees to roll to the front of the sit bones and fold your hips. Nice. From here, take a breath, reach your arms up. As you exhale, twist to the right. Right hand comes behind you. Left hand comes to the outer thigh or knee or leg. Tailbone drops down. Pubic bone lifts up. Front ribs drop toward your sit bone. Good. Gaze forward, take a breath. Release the twist, arms reach up. As you exhale, hands come down. Cross your right foot in front of your left. Roll over the feet, downward facing dog. Nice. With an inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step it through, lower your back shin. Breathe, reach up, Anjaneyasana. As you exhale, hands come down, straighten your front knee, half Hanuman. Shoulders roll on to the back. Inner arms spiral forward to open up the lungs here. Bend your left knee so that you find more of a fold at your joints. And then two choices. We're either going to head to Janu Shirashasana or Ardha Virasana. So if you already know you're headed to Janu, you're going to take your right foot, tuck it over to the left, and sink your hips back behind like we did at the beginning of class. Otherwise, let your hips keep reaching back and lower them to the inside of your right ankle or onto a block, pillow, or a blanket. All right. Stay active through that left leg. You can stay here, you can lean back. If you're going to go any further, lift your hips slightly and start to scoop your tailbone forward. And then you might lower down to forearms. You might lower all the way to your back. Move slowly, checking in with body and breath each time you move into a shape. If that right knee lifts up, you've gone too far, too fast. Come back up where you can come into a position where you feel supported, spacious, and where the breath can stay your focus. Keep allowing your right sit bone to root down toward the floor and level off. And then if you are laying all the way back on the floor, press yourself up to forearms. Press into your forearms, your hands, and inhale, lift yourself up. If you're sitting on a prop, remove it and bring your right leg around. Good. Pedal out the legs a little bit if you need to. Dandasana, staff pose. Hands next to the hips, fingers forward. Heart and lungs lift, front ribs drop down. And then when you're ready, maintain that. Take a breath, arms reach up. And as you exhale, twist to the left. Beautiful. Breathe, gaze forward. As you exhale, release the twist, arms reach up. Scoot your sit bones back. As you exhale, Paschimottanasana. Bend your knees a bit. Arms reach down. They can either frame the legs or you can reach for your feet. Bend your knees slightly so that you find the fold in your hips. And you take it out of your low back and bring it into the back of the hips and the back of the legs. Press into your heels, bend your knees. Inhale, roll yourself up. You can keep hands behind the knees or take your arms up. We're going to lower all the way to our backs. Setting up for bridge. So feet come hip distance. Hands reach down to graze the heels. And plug into your feet. Take a breath. Let your low back flatten to the mat. Let your tailbone scoop forward and up. And as you exhale, let the tailbone keep lifting forward and up to lift your hips. You might slide something under your hips for a little support. You might snug your shoulders a little closer in so that you can interlace your hands underneath you. Press into your feet. Press into your arms. Let your chest lift up to your chin. And breathe deep into your belly. Take one more breath to prepare. And as you exhale, gently start to roll your spine down. You can take feet together, knees wide, Supta Baddha Konasana. Or feet wide, knees knock in. Maybe a hand on heart and belly. Maybe you cactus your arms up overhead. You can stay here, or you can bring your knees together. And then we'll make our way right into dead bug. For today's variation, take peace fingers to big toes, elbows to the inside of the knees, and press feet into hands, hands into feet. You can stay in stillness, or you can find some movement. You're welcome to stay here as long as you like. And when you feel ready, we'll make our way right to inversion. So legs to the sky. You can always move over to a wall or a chair and drape your legs up the wall or over the chair. Or you can nestle hands, towel, blanket, block underneath your hips. And the idea is just to get the feet over the head, the heart, to help to pump the lymphatic system. Giving our bodies a little assist. Helping our immune system. If you have a different inversion in mind for yourself today that you can take safely, please feel free. Otherwise, we'll just take this little more restful option. If you have a prop under your under your hips, remove it and replace it with your hands, palms facing down. We'll set up for Matsyasana. Press balls of the feet up toward the ceiling. Breathe. And as you exhale, start to lower your legs. Just as they touch, breathe. Press your elbows and forearms down to lift your heart up. You still reach through the balls of the feet. Shoulders on the back, and actually your shoulder blades slide underneath you to lift up your heart, your chest, your lungs. And then breathe, bring your chin to your chest. As you exhale, gently lower yourself to Shavasana. Letting your eyes close down. Letting your body come into a restful position. Take a moment to scan your body, head to toes, fingers, face, and let all of your muscles just soften and release, melting toward the earth and feeling the earth support and rise up to meet you. Your next breath, come in a little deeper. And allow some movement into fingers and toes. If you would like a little bit of a longer Shavasana, you're welcome to stay. Bring your feet to the earth and your knees into your chest and gently roll to your right. And then using your hands, press yourself up to a seat. Letting your hands meet at your heart. Knowing that what is occurring within you is a microcosm of what is occurring around you and vice versa. So working on clearing, healing, grounding, balancing what comes up within ourselves allows us to best connect and express and interact with those around us and the world around us. Letting your thumbs come to your third eye, your forehead, breathe in. And namaste. Namaste. Thank you for sharing your mat and your practice and space with me. And please feel free to like and share and comment if there's anything else that you would like to see in your classes. And have a beautiful day.